Chapter 146. Dragon Might Boxing Center. Damn it! Damn it! Kai grabbed his hair frantically. His eyes were crimson, and he looked ready to kill. He had cast the net for 3 years, and when it was finally time to pull it back in, two unexpected factors appeared. Nash and Theo. There were two individuals who he did not dare lay a hand on either. It was the first time Helena saw Kai so angry. She was too scared to speak. Duncan's face was as pale as paper, and it was a long time before he slowly breathed in and tried consoling the man. Kai, don't worry. We still have the Tiger vs. Phoenix competition. At this moment, Duncan's bodyguard came over and said, Mr. Duncan, Mr. Kai, we received a notice from Mandagore. Votes for Mammoth have dropped to 77 million. Crash! The glass in Duncan's hand fell to the ground. How did it slip? He asked, stunned. Even a fool would know that Tiger would win the Tiger vs. Phoenix championship. As long as they made Mammoth lose, they would be able to make a profit from the unsuspecting investors. Once they had earned enough money, they could just close down the company in Mandagore. It would have been a safe and profitable move. Someone revealed that the Phoenix Crown Championship is being manipulated. The bodyguard faltered. Kai was furious. He grabbed the bodyguard's collar with both hands and roared. Who was it? The bodyguard said with trembling lips. The news came from the dark web, and the person who spread it was the smiling Grim Reaper. As if he had been struck by lightning, Kai immediately slumped on a chair. The smiling Grim Reaper. Why did the smiling Grim Reaper suddenly appear? Why would the smiling Grim Reaper suddenly target us? Could Nash have lured him out? Kai was trembling all over. If Nash really knew the smiling Grim Reaper, it would be too terrifying a prospect. Duncan squeezed his chin with one hand and murmured, Theo is likely the one who knows the smiling Grim Reaper. It's not them who's targeting us, but Theo. But why did Nash bet so much? Helena took over the conversation and said, Isn't he Bianca's coach now? It's not unusual for him to support Bianca. But where did this trash get that money? Kai regained his composure and answered lightly, He earned 3 billion from my family and then another billion from treating the warden. Back at the ring, when Kai did not come down to present the award after a long time had passed, the host said enthusiastically again, Mr. Kai is the heir of the wealthiest family in Jauntford. It's only natural that he has a lot of work. I hope everyone understands. The moment he said that, Kai left the second floor with Helena and Duncan. They did not even look at the arena as they made their way straight for the elevator. A large number of media reporters followed them, but they were all stopped by Kai's bodyguards. The elevator door opened, and Queenie came out eating a lollipop. She beamed when she saw Kai and asked, Kai, are you done with the match? She had no interest in boxing and only came here today to see who won the Phoenix Crown. Kai walked into the elevator expressionlessly while surrounded by a group of bodyguards as if he did not see Queenie. Chapter 147. 6 bodyguards were standing side by side at the door, blocking the media reporters from entering the elevator. Queenie wrinkled her nose in displeasure. You're gonna ignore me? Fine then. You think you're so great? In the ring, the host watched as Kai entered the elevator and was worried about what to do when he saw Queenie. He immediately explained, It looks like Mr. Kai has something urgent to attend to, so this time, the prize will be presented by Miss Queenie, the lady of the wealthiest family in Jauntford. The spotlight instantly landed on Queenie. Shit! What's going on? Queenie was a little dazed. The boxing center staff stepped forward to explain the situation to Queenie. Only then did she understand the ins and outs of the situation. She smiled and said, Isn't it just some award? What's so difficult about that? She then stepped into the ring while accompanied by a few bodyguards and staff. When Queenie realized that the winner of the Phoenix Crown was not Black Widow, surprise flashed across her face. The host smiled and said, Now, let us give the warmest applause and invite Miss Queenie to present the Phoenix Crown to the winner of the Women's Boxing Championship, Bianca. A blonde woman stepped forward with a tray. Queenie had seen her brother present awards to the champions before, so she collected herself and then put a smile on her face as she carefully picked up the phoenix crown with both hands and walked slowly toward Bianca. Women have held lofty ambitions since ancient times. Among the countless heroes in the world, who dares say women are inferior to men, the Dragon Might Boxing Center has hosted the Tiger Crown and Phoenix Crown Championship for times since its establishment. Times change, as does the victor of the Tiger Crown every year, but the Phoenix Crown has always belonged to the female boxing legend, Black Widow, and now, Black Widow is stepping down from her throne while Bianca ascends it like a bright and dazzling new star. Let us once again give a warm applause and congratulate Ms. Bianca on becoming the Phoenix Crown champion for the year 2022. The host read out the script as fast as a barrage of bullets. There was thunderous applause from the audience. At the same time, Queenie put the Phoenix Crown on Bianca's head. The Phoenix Crown was made of pure gold and shone brightly under the light. The 9 diamonds on it glittered even more. The staff pushed a trolley containing $500,000 in cash into the ring. Standing under the spotlight, Bianca slowly raised her gloved hands like an unrivaled goddess of war. The applause intensified. Scotty and Hera were also applauded happily. Nash put his hands in his pockets, his expression calm. He could not recall how many times he had witnessed a scene like this. The Phoenix Crown Championship was just a commercial boxing match held by the Dragon Might Boxing Center. Bianca still had a long way to go to become a boxing champion. She would have to go through the municipal, provincial, national, and world championships. Bianca looked at Nash, hoping to see some encouragement on his face. She knew very well that she would not have been able to defeat Black Widow if it were not for Nash training her just now. Nash noticed Bianca's gaze and did not disappoint her. He smiled and clapped. Queenie also noticed Nash, who she thought was annoying, and the smile disappeared from her face. The bastard made her run for so long last night and caused her to lose pounds when she was already thin. She walked up to Nash angrily and cursed, "You bastard! Who allowed you into my boxing center?" Nash glanced at Queenie and replied calmly, "I bought a ticket. Why can't I come in?" Queenie frowned. "This is the Watsons' territory. You're not welcome here." When Hera and Scotty saw this, they immediately came over. However, before they could even say anything, Nash laughed and said, "I'll just leave then." He just earned $9 billion from the Watsons, so he did not bother trying to reason with this unruly princess. The three of them left without looking back. Only then did Queenie fold her arms across her chest with satisfaction. She then walked up to Bianca and said, "Bianca, you're now the holder of the Phoenix Crown. Both your popularity and value will improve significantly. We'll invest a large amount to buy out a year's worth of advertising representation for you. We'll also arrange the best boxing coach for you so that you can win the golden belt within 3 years." Kai had said all of this to Black Widow before. The Watsons did indeed possess power and capital. However, Bianca unexpectedly gave Queenie no consideration as she calmly responded, "Thank you for your kind offer, Miss Queenie, but my coach is Nash." Chapter 148. After Bianca said that, she left the place quickly. If Miss Queenie's family was not going to give consideration to Nash, then she would not give them any consideration either. Queenie was stunned as she watched Bianca leave. Nash was Bianca's coach. Was he not a doctor? He did not dedicate himself solely to medical skills but went on to teach others boxing instead. He also managed to coach such a powerful boxer. Nash drove the Maserati and took Scotty and Hera to the playground. Scotty and Hera had a great time. Like a parent, Nash helped them carry their unfinished snacks. He suddenly felt as if he was the third wheeler. At noon, they had a casual lunch and then went to the cinema. When they were at the entrance of the cinema, Scotty saw groups of young couples and said with a smile, "I'll skip out on the movie. I need to go see Bianca." Displeased, Hera huffed, "We already bought the tickets. Why did you suddenly change your mind?" Scotty smiled and pushed the two of them toward the ticket gate. "The movie is starting soon. Don't waste time." "All right then. Be careful on the road," Hera said helplessly. Nash returned Scotty's bag and said lightly, I see you still have some conscience. Today had been a great day for him to cultivate his relationship with Hira, but Scotty had taken her up for most of the day. Nash bought some popcorn and Coke. Hira could not help but laugh when she saw how silly Nash looked holding Coke and a bucket of popcorn in his hands. The movie they were going to watch was the latest Hollywood action blockbuster, The Legendary Life of the King of Fighters. The lead actor was none other than Mike Thorson. It was a full house, which showed how popular the movie was. Nash and Hira sat in the last row. The movie opened with the famous scene of Mike defeating the Dark Lord with one punch. Then, the screen rewound non-stop and came to the time when Mike was young. Mike did not come from a good background. He had 2 younger sisters and 3 younger brothers. His father was a drug addict, and his mother was forced to rely on prostitution to support the family. When his father was short on money, he would come back and ask his mother for money. Every time, he left his mother with scars. Mike was the eldest, and he had hidden in the dark while watching all of this silently. He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth, but there was nothing he could do. At school, Mike was often bullied by his peers. In the end, Mike came to his senses when he was thrown into the water after being beaten into a bloody pulp. He used the money he stole to get tattoos all over his body from a tattoo parlor. He worked out, got fit, and joined the street bullies. In the end, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for accidentally causing harm to people. He saw boxers competing to become the boss of the prison through fights. The prison boss had much say in the prison that even their jailers had to show some leniency. Mike got close to the prison boss and became his right hand. The prison boss also took an interest in Mike's physique and began to teach him basic boxing skills. For 3 years, Mike had no rivals in prison. After he was released from prison, he found a boxing coach at the address the prison boss had passed to him. From then on, the boxing coach began training him to make him a local street boxing champion. However, the coach took away all the money Mike had earned in the end and fabricated countless incriminating evidence to discredit Mike. The street boxing champion thus became a despised existence that everyone spat on. Hira was deeply affected when she watched this. What a disgusting coach! Taking his money away is one thing, but smearing his reputation as well. Hira fumed. Nash sighed. You can't trust anyone easily when interests are involved. Hira nodded and continued watching the movie. Mike met a woman in the underground boxing center. The two began a passionate love affair. On the screen, Mike looked rough and had scary tattoos all over his body, but he would do anything for his girlfriend. Distracted by his relationship, his performance in the ring was not adequate. In order to make money, the brokerage company secretly hired a group of desperados to capture his girlfriend. Chapter 149. The female lead suffered inhuman torture, and when Mike arrived at the old warehouse where she was held, she was already dying. She died in Mike's arms. Mike was distraught and was about to burst into tears. Many viewers have begun wiping away their tears. Hira was also rubbing the corners of his eyes with a napkin. Nash saw this and held Hira's hand tightly. Hira pursed her lips and leaned on Nash's shoulder as she continued watching the movie. After what happened, Mike did nothing but drink all day long. He squandered all his savings and ended up living in the slums. It was there he met a group of kind old people and innocent children. These people lived a life of starvation, and the upper class trampled on the dignity of the poor. They bought the poor people here to be their slaves and would beat and curse them if they ever disagreed with them. Mike also saw his 2 favorite children get beaten to death by children from those rich families with his own 2 eyes. He was determined to change everything here and put on his gloves again. After training for several months, he entered the underground boxing world to fight in illegal fights. He then distributed all the money he earned to the poor in the slums. One day, Mike chanced upon a Somarise who was on his last breath. He did not want to meddle in another person's business and went straight home. People can be wicked. Mike has wisened up. That's right. If he were to bring him home, who knows if he might be taking care of a wolf in sheep's wool. Everyone had begun talking between themselves. However, in the next second, the camera cut to a scene where the Somarise had been brought back slums. The heck? We got it wrong. Ha ha! Mike hides a kind heart under his rough appearance. Mike took care of the Somerese man in every possible way until he recovered. "Are you okay?" Mike sat smoking a cigarette in the dim light. "I'm fine." The young man sat up, clutching his chest. He tore off the clothes from his body, revealing 10 horrific gunshot wounds. Oh my God. Mike could not help the way his throat bobbed. Immediately afterward, the young Somerese man took out a dagger from his boot. He immediately used the dagger to pick out the bullets from his flesh while Mike watched shocked. Mike found gauze and some medical supplies. After the young Somerese man took care of his wounds, he sat at the head of the bed and closed his eyes to rest his mind. Mike stuffed a cigarette into the Somerese man's mouth and lit it for him as he said, "The name's Mike Thorson. What's yours?" The young Somerese man took a puff of the cigarette and answered lightly, "My name's Nash." "Fuck. Is the young man McNash? He's from our country. Who would have believed that? Oh my God. Who of you has met McNash? I must ask him for an autograph and take a photo with him." Damn. Can you shut up? A few months passed, and the young man recovered. He then studied boxing and became Mike's partner. In the end, he became Mike's personal trainer. He was McNash. McNash had disguised himself as an old man to avoid being hunted down by his enemies. Every time Mike fought at a match, the audience would always find the old man clapping his hands away. Hera turned to look at Nash, her small and soft hands tightening slightly. "Did you really get shot so many times?" Chapter 150. It was hard for her to imagine that Nash had already been wandering about abroad when he was only 17 or 18 years old. Nash smiled and said, "It's just a movie. Some parts are exaggerated, so don't take it seriously. Besides, haven't you seen my body before? Did you see any gunshot wounds on it?" Hera pouted and replied, "With how good your medical skills are, of course not." Nash squeezed Hera's small, soft hand. "It happened a long time ago. Don't worry about it." Hera rolled her eyes while she pondered. She decided to check whether there were any scars on Nash when he was asleep tonight. The film lasted 120 minutes. It was mainly about the difficult life the King of Fighters, Mike, led. After the movie ended, Nash was filled with emotions. He was with Mike for more than a year, but the man never mentioned his past. He never thought that this guy had such a miserable childhood. After that, Nash went shopping with Hera. The two walked side by side and hand in hand like a young couple in love. Time always felt short when one was having a good time. As the sun set, the lights came on. Nash and Hera walked around the Chateau Hotel. The Chateau Hotel's private trail is open to the public today. I heard they have roses on both sides of the trail. Aren't they just roses? It's not like I haven't seen them before. My boyfriend gave me 99 roses yesterday. Have you ever seen roses stretching for 10 miles? 10 miles? Are you pulling my leg? Of course. It's true. It's all over the internet. Miss Lewis seems to be celebrating her birthday. There were 3 or 5 college students walking toward the Chateau Hotel in a group. Hera heard them chatting and immediately took Nash's hand to lead him back. "I think that's enough fun for today. Let's go home quickly." Just as Nash was about to say something, Hera's phone rang. It was Scotty calling. "Scotty? Hera, it's so pretty here at the Chateau Hotel. Come and take some photos for me. I don't think I'm going to go there anymore." Today was Helena's birthday, and her party was being held at the Chateau Hotel. There was no doubt that Kai had prepared those roses for Helena. If she were to bump into Helena, she would definitely ridicule her. "Oh, come here quickly. Carmen, Bianca, and I are waiting for you," Scotty said. "Carmen? Who's Carmen?" Hera asked doubtfully. "Carmen, the president of the Tea Art Club. Have you forgotten?" "Oh, her. I remember. I'll be there right away," Hera replied and then ended the call. She turned to look at Nash. "Let's go look for Scotty." The Fisher family was originally an ordinary family. Carmen's grandfather started his business by selling tea. Later, his business grew, and he monopolized the tea market in many regions, earning nearly $10 billion. During her college days, Carmen became the president of the Tea Art Club based on her insights into tea ceremony culture. Scotty liked to socialize and met many people. She met Carmen through Scotty and they had dinner together several times later. After graduating from university, Hira lost contact with Carmen as well as her classmates. Since they were all friends from college, it would be nice to go and meet them. There were security guards at the entrance of the private area, and there was a sign next to it stating that no vehicles were allowed to pass. Those who wanted to enter Chateau Hotel today could only park their cars outside. Nash and Hira stepped onto the trail. The delicate roses on both sides exude a faint fragrance. There were many women already crouching among the flowers and taking photos. Hira looked at the roses on both sides of the trail with a faint smile on her face. Nash held Hira's hand, the corners of his lips curling up slightly. Do they look good? Yes. Chapter 151. Hira nodded. Nash asked, Do you like it? Hira shook her head. It's beautiful, but I don't like it. These roses were Kai's gift to Helena, so obviously she would not like them. Nash continued, What if I was the one who prepared these roses for you? Then, I still won't like them. How much money did you waste on all these roses? I don't like a man who's wasteful with money. All right. It's getting dark. Let's hurry and go inside so Skade and the rest don't wait for too long. Hira grabbed Nash's pinky and started walking. Soon, the two of them arrived at the entrance of the Chateau Hotel. Right opposite it was a massive green lawn. On the grass, there was a heart made out of roses, and the center was Happy Birthday written out with blue roses. Carmen was dressed in luxury clothing from head to toe as she stood in the middle of the heart. She had a Hermes bag on her shoulder and there was a smile on her face. Come, strike a pose. Smile. Scotty was instructing Carmen to change her poses while taking pictures of her. Bianca had a bandage on the corner of her eye and the bruises on her face were hidden with concealer. When she saw Nash and Hira enter, she quickly walked up to them and said, Coach, Hira, Bianca. Hira immediately hugged Bianca. A smile tugged at Bianca's lips. Hira, you're right on time. Step in so I can take your picture. Scotty waved at Hira. Hira shook her head, forced a smile, and said, It's all right. You guys keep taking pictures. Today's your birthday. This perfect setting is for you. Scotty went and pulled Hira over. Carmen stepped out from the field of flowers. She quickly went to Scotty's side. Skade, show me the pictures you took of me. Scotty laughed and said, Don't you trust my photography skills? Carmen grinned cheekily. Send it to me through WhatsApp later. Carmen, long time no see. Hira smiled and greeted her enthusiastically. Carmen glanced at Hira and nodded without smiling. Then she walked over to the men in the suit by the roadside. The smile on Hira's face became increasingly unnatural. Scotty quickly explained, Hira, that man is Carmen's boyfriend. I think he's the eldest son of the second-tier elite family in Capitan. Hira was a bit unhappy but did not want to ruin the mood, so she just smiled and nodded. Nash's calm gaze glanced at Carmen and the man. Scotty truly had a lot of friends, especially those who were holes that looked down on others. Bianca complained, Carmen's personality is like that. She can't be bothered by anyone who isn't in her circle of friends. Before I got the Phoenix crown, she wouldn't say more than a word to me. However, when I got the Phoenix crown today, she wanted my phone number immediately. Nash laughed. You guys are from the same school. Bianca nodded and said, Scotty and Hira are in the same class and I'm in the same year as them. Carmen is our senior. Nash crossed his arms around his chest and kept quiet. Bianca lifted her gaze and carefully looked at Nash. Coach Calcraft, could you still teach? Nash, quickly come and take a picture of Hira and me. Chapter 152. Scotty suddenly shouted for him to come over. Nash immediately walked towards them. Scotty found a good position for Nash, adjusted the night mode settings, then went back into the center of the heart of roses. She posed with Hira by making a huge heart with their arms. Nash took a few pictures. Scotty changed their poses a few more times as they laughed as beautifully as flowers. Even a group of men nearby was drooling as they watched the girls. Scotty then exchanged positions with Nash to take some pictures of Nash and Hira. At that moment, Carmen brought her boyfriend over. Carmen could not help but laugh. Darling, let me tell you something interesting. Mr. Kai's girlfriend is my junior's older sister. The man looked surprised. Really? Carmen continued. Today is Hira's birthday. Helena's birthday is on the 5th of next month. The man was rather confused. So why is it Helena's birthday celebration today instead of Hera's? Carmen replied mockingly. There was no choice. Who's to blame Helena for finding a good man? Helena hates Hera, so she's celebrating her birthday earlier. The man squinted and looked at the man who was standing with Hera. Is that guy your junior's boyfriend? Carmen nodded and said, Yep, I think he came from the mountains. The man sneered. They're both ladies from the Lewis family. How can the difference in their fate be so drastic? Have you guys said enough? Bianca stormed over with her hands in the pockets of her windbreaker. She had already heard everything about Hera from Scotty. Helena's boyfriend was Johnford's richest and youngest man, so even she dared not to offend him. However, Carmen was just a second-tier elite family. With her own power combined with Scotty's, the Fisher family was nothing to fear. Nash was her coach and Hera was Nash's girlfriend. She would not tolerate anyone bad-mouthing the two of them. Carmen frowned but quickly opened up. Bianca, you have to know that birds of the same feather flock together. Hence, people get divided. Now that your status is rising, your network circle will change too. It's best not to get too close to friends who bring no benefit. Don't swim against the current, understand? Carmen had only met her boyfriend Charles by raising her social status. Captain's Gardner family was a second-tier elite family, but they were comparable to Johnford's first-tier elite family. Bianca stared coldly at Carmen. I've made it very clear. If I ever catch you insulting Nash and Hera, I won't hesitate to use you as a punching bag. Charles' face darkened and was about to speak, but Carmen grabbed his arm. Charles, let's not engage with her. People like her will never afford anything good in life. At that moment, the people around them all looked toward the road. On the road, more than 30 bodyguards cleared the way. Everyone in the Lewis family slowly walked onto the empty road. Hubert was wearing a suit worth $4 million. His gray hair was combed down his back. He walked with his head held high like a proud rooster. Rooney had her hands behind her back too, as if she was a celebrity observing the crowd. Kane and Herman had gentle and warm smiles on their faces. This was the Chateau Hotel, the top winery in all of Johnford. No one would die with regrets if they had the opportunity to dine here. Mr. Kai, you prepared so many roses. You're so kind, Hubert chuckled. Kai smiled and said, I actually didn't know that my grandfather's premium membership card had such perks. Kai wanted to use his own diamond card, but his grandfather wanted to make him look more presentable, so he lent his card to Kai. Helena was so touched. Her eyes began to water. She hugged Kai's arm and said, Thank you. Kai, this is the most unforgettable birthday I've ever had. Kai kissed Helena on the cheek. As long as you like it. Chapter 153. Helena choked up. I love it. I really love it. Queenie was following behind. Kai looked envious. Helena, I'm so jealous that you found a boyfriend as good as my brother. I hope that my future boyfriend will also celebrate my birthday like this. Helena giggled. You're so beautiful, Queenie. You're definitely going to marry into the top wealthiest family in Capitan. I'll hold on to you for that. While they talked and laughed, everyone went to the main entrance. The sharp-eyed Queenie immediately spotted Nash and Hera taking pictures amongst the flowers. The smile on her face switched into an irritated expression. Sigh. We're so unlucky. Why do we keep running into them everywhere? Helena sneered. I'll go take a look. She did not invite Hera, yet she actually came to the Chateau Hotel. If she did not punish her, she would not have done Kai's premium membership card justice. Queenie looked at Kai and asked, Kai, are you not going to go over? Kai's expression was as dark as the night. I'll bring them into the hotel first. If he were to see Nash now, he would be burning with fury. Going over to Nash would just complicate things. George, Jensen, follow Helena and Queenie. Mr. Herman, Mr. Kane, Miss Yar, I'll bring you guys into the hotel. Kai wanted George and Jensen to protect Helena and his sister. George and Jensen were the fighters who survived after protecting the warden. No matter how strong Nash was, he would not simply attack the two of them. With them around, Helena and Queenie would be perfectly safe. Herman looked away and sighed helplessly. He walked into the hotel with Kane, and the rest of the Lewis friends and family followed behind. Hubert was just about to go in, but Rooney suddenly grabbed his sleeve. "Bertie, look, aren't those two Harrison and Lauren?" On the far side of the road, a man and woman strolled together arm in arm. It was Harrison and Lauren. Hubert touched his chin as he laughed. "Are they here to embarrass themselves?" A smile tugged at Rooney's lips. "It's perfect that they're here. I'm going to crush their faces onto the ground today." Harrison and Lauren strolled down the road. When they saw the beautiful roses, the two of them had a face full of regret. Harrison sighed. "What is Scotty up to? Why did she invite us?" Lauren chuckled. "Maybe Scotty has a membership card for Chateau Hotel?" Harrison's eyes lit up, but it quickly reverted. "With the Zabel family's power, I'm afraid they don't qualify for a diamond card. Even if that girl organized a birthday celebration for Hira, we would still be ridiculed by my brother's family." Lauren smiled. "If they want to laugh at us, then let them be. It's not like we'll lose a limb because of it." At the lawn, with Scotty's quirky teasing, Hira and Nash were smiling naturally. Scotty took the opportunity to take dozens of pictures. There were pictures of them making heart poses, some of them facing away from each other whilst looking up into the sky, and some of them where Hira had her arms around Nash's neck and the two of them were staring at each other affectionately. When they were done, Hira and Nash walked away from the flowers. Hira looked through the pictures and smiled happily. "Skate, your pictures are beautiful." Scotty grinned and said, "That's because you and Nash are on the camera. The two of you could be models." Hira waved a picture in front of Nash. "Let's change our wallpaper into this picture tomorrow." It was the picture of her and Nash looking at the stars. Nash chuckled. "I'll do whatever you say as long as it makes you happy." As soon as he finished speaking, Helena waltzed over. "Hey, is my beloved sister at Chateau Hotel to celebrate her birthday?" Chapter 154. When she saw Helena, a happy smile immediately broke out on Carmen's face. "Helena, you're here." "Carmen, Mr. Gardner. It's nice to see you." Helena knew Carmen too. They were in the same class, but Carmen used to look down on her. Now that she was Kai's girlfriend, Carmen was fawning over her. However, if it was not for Charles' sake, she would not have bothered with that woman. Hira grabbed Nash's hand and whispered, "Nash, let's go." Nash smiled and asked, "Where?" Hira rolled her eyes at Nash. "I'm hungry. Let's go home to eat." She took out her phone and glanced at it. Her parents had not called her. She opened WhatsApp and there was not a single message. Did they not promise to call her when they were done preparing dinner? Nash asked, "Isn't this a place to eat?" "It is, but it isn't a place worth eating at." Rooney and Hubert walked over. It was Rooney who spoke. Hira's worst fears were happening. Her face flushed red and her hand that held onto Nash's was trembling. Queenie took out a lollipop from her bag, peeled off the wrapper, and popped the candy in her mouth. She liked to snack while watching drama. The Lewis family was targeting Nash. Queenie was so happy to the point where she had a gloating expression. Scotty and Bianca walked to Nash and Hira's side. Bianca frowned, but Scotty was calm even though she was feeling uneasy. After all, she had heard that the Watson family had a premium membership card to Chateau Hotel. If Nash did not have a premium membership card, then today's fight would have been lost and Hira would be embarrassed. Rooney glanced at the heart made of roses behind them and said, "Mr. Kai prepared that for my daughter. The audacity you have to come here to take pictures. You're absolutely shameless. I've never seen someone as shameless as you." As soon as that comment was made, Hira became even more ashamed. It was apparent that she took Rooney's words to heart. It was her birthday, but she had to postpone it and use someone else's birthday present to take pictures. She really did seem shameless. Tears welled up in Hira's eyes. Nash smiled and said, "You said that these roses were a gift from Kai to Helena, but can you prove it?" "Proof? Which person present doesn't know that today is my daughter's birthday?" "I'll be honest with you. Kai used his grandfather's premium membership card. All these roses are its perks." Rooney did not hide it and exposed the matter of Kai's premium membership card. As soon as she said it, everyone around them gasped in surprise. "Premium membership card? What's that?" A Johnford University student who did not understand asked. A girl beside her immediately said, "Only members can visit Chateau Hotel. The membership is split into 3 levels. The first level is a normal card worth $140 million. A diamond card is worth $700 million, and a premium membership card is worth $2.7 billion. The crowd covered their mouths in shock when they heard the girl's explanation. $2.7 billion. They had no idea why the concept was like that. An established family business would not have capital of more than $140 million. $2.7 billion would be the equivalent of 2 established family businesses. This was just the Watson family's membership card. Nash said, "I want proof." "Why are you telling me about a membership card?" Rooney snickered. "Do you want me to get Mr. Kai and the hotel manager over for proof?" Helena responded with a smile. "Mom, there's no need to bother Kai and the hotel manager. If they want to take pictures, then let them." Chapter 155. Rooney nodded in agreement. "You're right. They're shameless enough anyways." Scotty could not stand it anymore. She took a step forward and angrily said, "You better keep your mouth shut, fatty." "Fat, fatty?" Rooney looked at Scotty dumbfoundedly. Are you talking to me?" Scotty loudly said. "Don't you have any idea who I'm talking to?" Rooney had no clue. She even looked around in hopes of seeing a fat person in the crowd. However, there was not a single fat person around. This was when she realized Scotty was insulting her. Rooney snapped and screamed, "You bitch! I dare you to say it again." She had come to celebrate her daughter's birthday, so how could this blonde girl insult her? "Stupid bitch! Fucking fatty! You eat more than a pig, don't you?" Scotty's hands were on her hips and her saliva went flying everywhere. Hera grabbed Scotty's wrist and whispered, "Skade, that's enough." She did not feel an ounce of pity for Rooney. Hera was just wary that Skade would offend Kai because of this incident. Rooney was completely pissed off and walked forward to hit Scotty. Bianca dashed forward and was ready to block Rooney, but her cold stare stopped Bianca in her tracks. Rooney walked up to Scotty, raised her hand, and swung her arm down. Scotty's lips curled as she dodged Rooney's attack and instead slapped her back at the speed of light. Helena was about to block her mother, but before she could react, she heard the slap. Ouch! Rooney grabbed her face and cried, "Help! She hit me!" The granddaughter of the head of Johnford Martial Arts Association, Zachariah Sinclair Zabel's granddaughter, just hit me. Helena stormed forward, glared at Scotty and said, "Kneel and apologize to my mother." Scotty crossed her arms and said with a smile, "Do you really think I'd do that?" Helena raised her hand and was about to hit Scotty, but Nash grabbed her wrist. Nash's strong grip caused Helena's wrist to make a cracking sound. George and Jensen rushed over. Jensen said to Nash, "Master Calcraft, please let her go." They did not want to get involved in the Lewis family's affairs, but now that Helena was getting attacked, they would not know how to explain to Kai if they did not interfere. Hera shook Nash's hand. "Nash, let it go. Let's just go back." Nash released Helena's wrist and wiped his hand on his shirt in disgust. Helena rubbed her wrist and took a few steps back with watery eyes. Rooney sat on the ground and wailed, "Helena, my life sucks." Helena was helpless too. She wanted to get revenge for her mother, but Nash was untouchable. At this moment, Lauren and Harrison emerged from the crowd. Lauren took a closer look and immediately smiled ear to ear. "Oh, I was wondering which lunatic was causing a scene. Turns out it was my sister-in-law." Before Rooney could respond, Lauren continued, "What's with the slap mark on your face? There's no way you hit yourself to try and fool everyone, right?" Rooney quickly covered her face. She glared at Lauren and screamed, "Don't be smug, Lauren." Lauren stood up straight and looked down at Rooney. "I would never be as smug as you. You've probably forgotten your own family name after relying on the Watson name so much, right?" It took all of Hubert's strength to lift Rooney off the ground. Rooney coldly said, "I didn't expect you to have the audacity to come here. Just go celebrate my daughter's birthday." After all that, she dragged Helena away and left. "Tiesk! What the hell?" Lauren was different compared to her usual demeanor. She spat on the ground, walked up to Scotty, and asked, "Scotty, did you make a reservation here?" Scotty shook her head and replied, "I didn't, but Nash did." Chapter 156. It was dinner time, and everyone who was supposed to be present had arrived. Now, it was time to give Hera her surprise. Bianca had a calm look on her face. In the boxing world, Nash was otherwise known as McNash, the father of all boxers. It was no surprise he could afford to reserve a private room here. Harrison's eyes widened, and he stared at Nash in shock. Nash, he did you really reserve a room at the Shadow Hotel? Lauren stayed silent, the corner of her mouth curling upward into a nearly indiscernible smile. It was as if she had already seen through everything. Hera turned to Nash, her elegant eyebrows knitting themselves together as she said, "Nash, you should cancel your reservation." Even if Nash had reserved a private room so they could have dinner at the Chateau Hotel, Helena's family would still mock them. She did not like comparing herself to others, but was there anyone in the world who could truly refrain from ever doing so? Helena had always bullied her, and she had put all her effort into managing her company, hoping she would one day be more successful than Helena was and get her grandfather's attention. Would the words envy and jealousy exist if one did not compare themselves to others? Nash saw through Hera and said gently, "Let's not overthink things and head in to have dinner instead. Besides, private room reservations at the Chateau Hotel can be cancelled on a whim." He did not know which level membership his card entitled him to either. The Chateau Hotel's premium membership card was purple-colored, but his card was black and gold-colored. Hera sighed. She was ready to be mocked by Helena's family. Bianca stopped in her tracks when they arrived at the entrance. "Scotty, Hera, there's something else I need to take care of, so I'll take my leave now." Hera immediately grabbed Bianca's arm. "No, Bianca, you can't leave." Bianca was one of her heroes, and there was no way she would let the opportunity to have dinner with her tonight slip by. "Is there anything else more important than Hera's birthday?" Scotty rolled her eyes at Bianca. Bianca pursed her lips. My stomach doesn't feel well." She did not know it was Hera's birthday today. They were not very close friends, and she had not prepared a gift either. She was embarrassed to attend Hera's birthday party. Hera chuckled. "Nash is a doctor. He can cure any ailment you have." Upon finishing her sentence, Hera turned to look at Nash. Nash merely glanced at her before saying calmly, "Nothing's wrong with her. She's in good health." Scotty linked arms with Bianca. "Hera is your coach's girlfriend. How do you expect him to continue coaching you in boxing when you won't even attend his girlfriend's birthday party?" Bianca was no match for Hera and Scotty's endless pestering and finally gave in. At the hotel lobby, Helena and the others were taking pictures with a gorgeous girl dressed in a maid outfit. Carmen braced a hand on Charles' shoulder and stood on her tiptoes to get a better look. When Hera and the others entered and saw what was going on, they all had surprised looks as they got on their tiptoes to see what was happening. Laura asked curiously, "What are they looking at?" "Oh my God!" Scotty let out a cry of surprise, and she nearly fell to the ground because of how surprised she was. Harrison was also unable to contain his curiosity. "Who did you see, Scotty?" "It's Sienna Lowe, the current biggest star in the entertainment industry. And then she's wearing a maid outfit. Holy crap! I'm in love." Scotty was so excited she did not know what to do with herself. "Oh my God! It's Sienna Lowe. I love her too." Hera's face had turned red from excitement, and she seemed minutes away from pouncing forth to kiss Sienna. Harrison gulped. "Do you think the Watson family invited her here?" The excited look on Hera's face instantly vanished when she heard that. Laura glared at Harrison. "Why are you killing the mood?" Chapter 157. "Miss Lowe, did my grandfather invite you here tonight?" Kai asked politely. "Who is your grandfather?" Sienna smiled as she asked in her voice which sounded as melodious as a nightingale's song. An embarrassed look appeared on Kai's face. "My grandfather is Walter Watson, the richest man in Johnford." Sienna shook her head. "I don't know him." Kai's embarrassment increased. "Then, were you invited by the Chateau Hotel?" Sienna smiled sweetly. "Yes, that's right. The Lowe family has shares in the Chateau Hotel, and the chairman specially requested that I help host a revered VIP guest tonight. I think it's his girlfriend's birthday tonight." Everyone in the Lewis family perked up when they heard that. The excitement they felt was unlike anything they had ever experienced. The revered VIP guest. Was that not Kai? Did that not make Helena the guest's girlfriend? You've brought so much honor to the Lewis family name, Helena. Indeed, I never thought the Lewis family would get to experience such glory. Hubert, Rooney, you have a wonderful daughter. Hubert and Rooney grinned from ear to ear when they heard their relatives sweet-talking them. Kai retrieved a purple-colored membership card from his wallet. I am that guest you were referring to. This is the Chateau Hotel's premium membership card. Then, he introduced Helena to Sienna. This is my girlfriend, Helena. She's the birthday girl you're hosting tonight. Helena's face was flushed red from excitement, and her voice trembled as she said, Hello, Sienna. I'm honored to have you host us. This was, without a doubt, the most memorable birthday she ever had. Tomorrow, everyone would know a famous celebrity had hosted her birthday party, and her company, Rococo Technology, would benefit greatly. A suspicious look appeared in Sienna's eyes as she stared at the premium membership card in Kai's hands. Had her family not instructed her to host a guest who had a platinum membership card? Indeed, the Chateau Hotel's highest-level members would own purple-colored premium membership cards. However, the Chateau Hotel also produced in-house platinum membership cards. Those who owned these platinum membership cards were, without a doubt, internationally well-known individuals. Only 12 of these platinum membership cards existed. 4 of them had been given to the 4 superpower country leaders. The wardens of the Northern, Southern, Eastern, and Western territories also had one each. The 3 most powerful ancient martial arts families also had 1 card each. Among the 2 remaining cards, one of them was with Master Calcraft's second disciple, Francis. The Sky family had been holding onto the last card for the longest time. It was not until a few days ago that it had finally been sent out. Premium membership cards were rare, but over 500 of those cards had been issued. Those who held these cards did not qualify to have her as a host. To ensure there was no misunderstandings, Sienna smiled and said, Please give me a moment, Mr. Watson. I'll make a call to double-check. She headed straight toward the front desk after that. Other than the attendant who had been there the day before, there was also a good-looking, short-haired girl who looked like she was going to fall asleep at any minute. She was Wendy Zeller, Sienna's manager and personal assistant. Wendy, pass me my phone. Huh? Oh. All right. The short-haired girl jerked awake and hastily retrieved a custom-made LV bag studded with diamonds from one of the drawers. She unzipped the zipper made from gold and took Sienna's phone out. Sienna's delicate eyebrows knotted together as she took her phone and whined. Look at the time. How are you able to fall asleep? Wendy stuck her tongue out. You spent the entire night filming. And I didn't get any sleep either. I'm just so sleepy. Sienna dialed her grandfather's number. However, her grandfather could not give her a definite answer and gave her Theo's number instead. Sienna called Theo. Mr. Sky, are you sure they have a platinum membership card? I'm sure of it. The cardholder's name is Nash Calcraft, and his girlfriend is Hera Lewis. Oh, right. I heard that Kai Watson, the heir of the Watsons from Johnford, will also be having dinner there with his girlfriend. Make sure you don't mix them up. Never mind. I'll just get someone to kick them out. That way, Nash won't be bothered. Chapter 158. Sienna's taut nerves relaxed after ending the call. Waves of panic had washed over her when she thought she needed to host Kai Watson. Nash, help me get an autograph from Sienna. Scotty tugged on Nash's sleeve, speaking slightly louder than needed because of her nerves. Sienna's nerves immediately returned when she heard Nash's name. The corner of Nash's mouth curled upward. Why don't you want to do it yourself? You're a guy. And you're decent looking. There's no way Sienna would say no to you. Besides, she's an A-list celebrity. Countless men wish they could get this close to her. Take this chance while her bodyguards aren't around her. No, I won't. Nash stuffed his hands into his pockets, ignoring the pleading look in Scotty's eyes. Scotty's eyes gleamed, and she leaned forth to whisper to Nash, I bet you didn't know that Sienna is Hera's favorite celebrity. She'll be delighted if you get her an autographed picture of Sienna, and who knows, she might be so happy that she'll say yes to sex tonight. Nash raised an eyebrow. He was slightly tempted by that. What are you guys muttering about? Hira gazed at Scotty questioningly as she left her parents' side and walked over to them. Oh, no, nothing. Scotty laughed sheepishly. Then, Sienna walked over with her assistant. Scotty's eyes widened. Holy crap. Sienna Lowe is walking over to us. She shook Nash's arm. Quick, Nash. Go ask for an autograph picture. Hira, who was also staring at Sienna, muttered, Get 2 of them. I want one too. If you can manage it. I would like one as well. Bianca, who had had an aloof expression on her face all this while, chimed in. Sienna had acted in both period films and modern-day dramas and could play both quirky and demure roles masterfully. Her excellent acting skills allowed her to attract many new fans. Bianca was one of Sienna's many fans. Speechless, Nash shook his head before getting a pen and some paper from Lauren. Nashy, please get me one too. Harrison grinned as he rubbed his hands against each other. When Laura gave him a death stare, he smiled sheepishly and said, I was planning on giving it to you. Laura said coldly, I've outgrown that. Why would I care about having a signed picture? Nash took the pen and paper and approached Sienna. Excuse me, are you Mr. Nash Calcraft? Hi. Could I get a couple of autographs? Sienna and Nash's questions left their mouths at the same time. Both were stunned after hearing the other person's question. Nash wondered why Sienna knew who he was. Meanwhile, Sienna was in shock that the man was asking for her autograph. Yes, I am Nash Calcraft. Nash smiled before handing her the pen and paper he was holding. Sienna's heart began racing. The man standing before her owned one of the Chateau Hotel's platinum membership cards. Who on earth was he? Why did he not even have a bodyguard or assistant with him? Miss Lowe? Nash tried getting Sienna's attention when he noticed her staring into space. Hey! Who are you? Sienna has no time for any fans today. Wendy grabbed her bag and raced over to stand in front of Sienna. Sienna's eyelids fluttered as she hurriedly said, Don't be rude, Wendy. He's the VIP guest I'm hosting today. Chapter 159. Wendy was stunned. Her mouth hung agape as she turned to stare at Sienna. There was absolutely nothing about that man which made him seem like the big shot who would own a black and gold-colored card. Was there a mistake? Sienna dragged Wendy to stand behind her and bowed to Nash. Greetings, Honorable Mr. Calcraft. You're one of the Chateau Hotel's platinum-level members, and I will be hosting you and your friends for dinner tonight. Boom! Kai, Queenie, and the Lee family felt like they had just been struck by thunder. Their mouths fell open as their eyes widened. Instead of hosting Kai and Helena, Sienna would be hosting Nash and Hira instead. Harrison and Rooney remained motionless as if they had been turned into statues. Hira, Scotty, and Bianca all clapped a hand to their mouths. Time felt like it had frozen. Everyone stood so still it was like they had gotten petrified. It was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Nash was stunned as well. It seemed that platinum memberships were on a much higher level than premium memberships. That's impossible. That's impossible. Rooney stumbled backward before yelling, You've made a mistake, Sienna. It's my daughter's birthday today. You should be hosting my daughter, Helena. Then, she ran over to Sienna and grabbed her by the wrist, trying to drag her toward where her daughter was standing. She could not accept the truth and refused to believe Hira was famous and deserving enough of Sienna. Wendy frowned and stopped forth to shove Rooney aside. Rooney weighed over 200 pounds, but Wendy, who was petite with a slight frame, managed to send her flying backward. George stepped forth and caught Rooney mid-air before using his strength to change her course of direction. After he had placed her safely on the ground, he turned to stare at Wendy in horror. She seemed so young, but she had already attained Grandmaster-level skills. He worried she might be a member of the ancient martial arts families from Capitan. Helena grabbed Kai's sleeve. Kai, what's going on? Was Kai not the esteemed guest? Why had it become Nash instead? If Nash was the esteemed guest, that would mean Hira was the one who would be getting a birthday celebration tonight. Kai sighed and approached Sienna. Miss Sienna, have you made a mistake? I'm the one with the premium membership card. I have not made a mistake, Mr. Watson. I host guests who own platinum membership cards. The one you have is a mere premium membership card. Guests with the Chateau Hotel's premium membership cards are not yet eligible to have A-list celebrities as their hosts. Sienna's tone turned much colder after she was sure she did not need to host Kai. After all, she was one of the Chateau Hotel's shareholders. Platinum members were the only people who could get her to wear a maid outfit and host them despite her status as a shareholder and celebrity. She did not know much about Nash's background, but the fact he could own a platinum card meant he was a force to be reckoned with. Kai's eyes narrowed. Why have I never heard of the Chateau Hotel having this so-called platinum card? Sienna explained, only 12 of these cards exist. The 3 most powerful ancient martial arts families in Capitan, the 4 wardens, and the leaders of the 4 superpower countries each own one. As for the remaining 2, one belongs to the Phoenix Messenger Francis Dunn, while the last belongs to Mr. Nash Calcraft. Rooney nearly fainted after hearing what Sienna said. Kai shook his head in disbelief. Impossible. Even if the Chateau Hotel produced platinum cards, there's no way Nash would have one. Nash took the black and gold-colored card from his wallet, his lips curling upward into a smile as he said, "So, turns out this card is so fancy." He had just asked Theo for a diamond card and had not expected him to give him the platinum card that granted him the highest level of hospitality. "Mr. Kai, Miss Hera Lewis will be celebrating her birthday at the Chateau Hotel today, and no outside guests will be entertained. Also, please bring these loiterers along with you when you clear the premises." Chapter 160. A woman's calm voice rang out, and a group of people entered through the main entrance. Olivia and her parents walked in with their family's bodyguards. Queenie was stunned. Her family, the Watsons, were the richest in Johnford, and her older brother held a premium membership at the Chateau Hotel. Yet, the Lee family wanted such esteemed guests removed from the premises. Helena's face paled as she clutched the hem of her shirt. She was having a hard time accepting the fact she would get kicked out of the Chateau Hotel today. "Hey, Lee! Mr. Kai holds a premium membership at the Chateau Hotel. Do you really have the guts to have such a respected guest kicked out?" Rooney shouted at Olivia without any fear. "You may have misheard me just now. I did not say I was kicking him out, but merely requested that he leave with his companions," Olivia explained calmly. "Did you hear her, Helena? She won't kick us out." Rooney secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It would have been the most embarrassing moment of her life if they got kicked out. Helena lowered her head in shame. She understood that Olivia was just being kind and giving them an out of respect for the Watsons. A glint appeared in Kai's narrowed eyes. "Our grandfathers are old friends, Olivia. Don't you think what you're doing is a little too much?" Was there any hotel in Johnford that did not dare treat him with respect? Besides, his grandfather and Mr. Lee had known each other for many years. The Watsons had even gifted a present worth over $80 million when they attended his birthday celebration several days ago. Olivia smiled. "Please do not be angry, Mr. Kai. This was done at Theo's request. You may direct any dissatisfaction you have to him." Theo's Kai. Kai bit down on his bottom lip. The fact he was the richest family in Johnford might be extremely impressive to others, but the Sky family was a super force in Capitan that thought them to be about as important as an ant. If Theo wanted to, he could drive all of the Watsons' businesses to bankruptcy with a flick of his finger. Queenie's face felt like it was flaming as well. It would be so embarrassing if they were kicked out while everyone else watched. She strode over to Watson and whispered, "Kai, why don't we ask Grandpa if he can speak to Theo? We hold a premium membership here. After all, he wouldn't be this cruel, right?" Getting a premium membership required paying a $20 billion processing fee, and only 2 of these cards existed in Johnford. She had a feeling the Sky family would be reluctant to lose a customer of their status. Kai sighed and shook his head. "You underestimate the Sky family's power." The Sky family had owned several $1 trillion worth of assets since the 80s. $20 million was nothing to them. Connections were what interested them now, and Nash had made enough of a name for himself that the Sky family was willing to serve him. No wonder Theo had placed and won a $26 billion bet on his company's website this afternoon. Queenie had something else she wanted to say, But Kai was already leaving the Shadow Hotel. He did not even look back once. Mr. Kai! Don't leave. Mr. Kai! They aren't even planning on kicking us out. What is my daughter going to do now if you leave? Rooney's screeches could be heard in the background. Hubert clapped a hand over Rooney's mouth and whispered furiously, "Can you stop embarrassing us?" Even an idiot could tell what his wife was trying to insinuate. She was still trying to have dinner at the Chateau Hotel. Just then, Olivia walked over to Nash and the others with him. She smiled apologetically. "Sorry I'm late, Nash." Nash returned to his senses and smiled. No, it's all right. Sorry for troubling you to make a trip all the way here.